Hello guys, and welcome back to the second episode of our authentication system tutorial. Today we are going to build the JavaScript frontend that we need to collect the user data and send it to the server. Okay, now that all our HTML markup is in place, we can start to build the client-side code that will allow us to collect the data that the user insert inside our forms and to send it to our server, okay? Every time that you want to build something, you always have to think at what kind of data you have to collect from the users, from the UI, okay? And how you have to organize this data to send it to your server, and usually in what format you want to send this data, okay? First of all, now that we have created all our views, we have to go in our app.js file to build the client-side logic to make our application able to collect the data from our users and to send it to our server, okay? In this case, we are going to collect all the users related data, okay? So, first thing that we have to do is to collect the data from the sign up page, because we are inside this route. So let's go to build the future of the sign up page. So user related functions, okay? The first thing that we want to do here, every time that you have to deal with forms, is to grab the form. So app.. At this point, we have selected our form from our UI. We have created a new object, which is our payload, which is all the data that we want to send to our server. And we have connected to our form an event listener, a submit event, okay? And you may notice that here we have the async keyword. This keyword is here because in all the function that we are going to use in our client side to make client requests to our server, we are going to use our app.client.request interface that we built in our blog application series, which is nothing more than a function that takes some parameters, okay, and send it to our server, okay? Let's get rid of this, okay? By using the fetch API, okay? Here, as you can see, we have the fetch API, okay? But as I said before, if you want to be able to understand better this kind of things, I really recommend to you to go back and watch our blog application series. So at the moment, the last things that we have to do in order to collect all the users' input from our UI is to grab the user input and put them inside our payload object, okay? So to achieve this goal, we have only to write So what we are going to do here. So here the first thing that we are going to do is to grab all the form element, but there is an error here due to our VS Code autocomplete feature, because here we don't want that things, but we want elements. Okay, let's save our app.js, and we are doing nothing else that than pushing inside our payload object our user input, and we are going to send this input to our backend using our app.client.request interface. This endpoint in our server does not exist yet. We are going to build it when we go to build the backend part, okay? So for now, let's comment out this part of code, and we want to console log, only console log our payload, okay? So let's save our app.js file. Let's go to initialize this function inside our app.init function. So here we want to make another if condition. So if window we want to start our app.createUser function. Okay, let's refresh our browser. Let's go to open our console and let's refresh the page, and let's try to insert hello at kungfucoding.io and some password like hello. If we click create, as you can see here, we have an object with email hello at kungfucoding.io and a password. Let's go to build the same behavior for the other two templates, okay? So let's fold this function. So here we are going to create another function which will be app.loginUser is equal to an async function, and here this function will be pretty much the same of this one. So we have only to copy this code and paste it inside this function. We have to change this ID with login form, and we have to initialize this function inside our new route. So here will be login, and here will be user loginUser. Okay, let's go into our login route. Let's try to send some payload, create, and as you can see here we have the same behavior, and we have to build the app.editUsers. So here we can copy the same code from the other two functions, okay? We can paste it here. We can change our ID. We can change the name of the input that we want to take. So here is old password, and here is old password, okay? And here is new password, and here as well new password. Okay, so we have also in this case to initialize this function inside our route. So here we have to profile, and we have to edit user, okay? And we have to call this function. Let's go here, okay? Let's try to type hello and hello two. Let's try to submit, and as you can see here we have an object with hello two and hello. Okay, It seems that all is working okay. In these fields, we are going to put the email address of our users, and we have disabled this input because we don't want that the users will be able to change his email address, okay? So the last client-side function that we are going to build is a function that will allow the users to delete their account. So this function is pretty much the same than the others. So app.deleteUser is equal to an async function. And here we want to use this kind of approach. We want to delete our user object from our database only and if only our user will insert the uppercase delete keyword, okay? If this condition is true, we will delete the user from our database, okay? I will go straight during the typing only for time reasons. Okay, as well as in the other function, we want to comment out this piece of code because at the moment we are not able to send to our server requests at this endpoint, okay? So here we want to console log our payload and let initialize our function to our route, so app.deleteUser, okay? Let's save our app.js file, let's refresh our page, and here if I type delete, for example, as you can see here is delete. So it seems that all is working okay. And that's all for this episode, guys. In the next episode we are going to build all the backend part. We are going to build the user's endpoint, and we are going to see how to create and how to delete a users from our database. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, please hit the like button and consider to subscribing to my channel. See you the next one, guys.